Getting a job as a starting quarterback in the NFL is pretty hard work, and apparently, keeping it is even harder.
When it goes into next week, I'm not ready to sit here and say what's going to happen with next week with our quarterbacks.
These quarterbacks are on thin ice. So, let's take a look at 10 quarterbacks who will lose their starting job next. Tyler Shough, QB, New Orleans Saints. Oh, Tyler Shough. The second-round pick just got a shot when Spencer Rattler failed to get the job done, and so far, it doesn't look super promising. To put it plainly, his debut was, rough, and he doesn't really have a skill set that jumps off the screen at you. After all, his first NFL start came in Week 9 against the Rams. Shough completed 15 of 24 passes for 176 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. The Saints lost 10-34. Not exactly the kind of debut that inspires confidence. This is a 1-8 team with no playoff hopes, and though Shough might get the rest of the season to prove himself, if he keeps on struggling, don't be surprised if New Orleans looks to give someone else a shot in the meantime. And either way, they're going to be looking at the 2026 draft for their next franchise QB. Justin Fields, QB, New York Jets. The New York Jets thought they had it all figured out. They cut Aaron Rodgers loose, signed Justin Fields to a 2-year, $40 million deal, and handed him the keys to the offense. And then, the season started. And while he hasn't turned the ball over with 0 interceptions, that's really more of an indicator that he hasn't done much of anything. I mean, he's thrown just 5 touchdowns, which ranks him tied for 32nd in the league. He is 29th in passing yards. The offense has been conservative to the point of being invisible. And now, the Jets are in full teardown mode. They just traded Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, their 2 best defensive players, to the Colts for 2 first-round picks. The front office is now stockpiling draft capital and preparing for a rebuild. It would not be surprising to see this team get worse, way worse, before it gets any better. As far as Fields is concerned, the prospects are looking pretty bleak. Don't be surprised if they pull the plug on him before the season's over, and maybe see if they can find a spark elsewhere. Joe Flacco, QB, Cincinnati Bengals. This one's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Joe Flacco is starting for the Bengals because Joe Burrow is out with a grade 3 turf toe injury that required surgery. The moment that Burrow is cleared to play, Flacco is back on the bench. That's just how it works. Cincinnati traded for Flacco from the Browns after backup Jake Browning struggled early on in the season. The Bengals are 3-6, sitting at their worst start since 2020 when they were in full tank mode. This year, they had playoff expectations, but without Burrow, those hopes are fading fast. Flacco's been solid, but he's also dealing with a shoulder injury that has him listed as trending towards playing each and every week. But the reality is this: Flacco was brought in to keep the seat warm. He's a 40-year-old journeyman who is not the long-term answer. It's not personal, it's just the way it is. Brock Purdy, QB, San Francisco 49ers. Technically, Brock Purdy is still the starter. Which, good reason too, after all. He has proved himself over the last couple of years, and he just signed a 5-year, $265 million contract extension back in May. And the coaching staff and his teammates have backed him publicly. But here's the thing. Mac Jones has been starting in his place for almost half of the season now, and he has been really good. And he's looking more like rookie Mac Jones than the battered version that we saw during his last couple seasons in New England. Purdy suffered a turf toe injury in Week 1, tried to come back in Week 4, and then re-aggravated it. All in, he's missed 7 of his first 9 games, and Shanahan has said that the injury probably won't fully go away all year. And heck, Jones isn't just managing games either. He's averaging 261.7 passing yards per game, which ranks 4th in the NFL, and thrown 10 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. That is some pretty good production. And what makes it even more impressive is that they have injuries just all over the place. So here's the real question. If Purdy's turf toe isn't going to heal and Mac Jones just keeps winning games, why would the 49ers disrupt the formula here? And even if it does heal, I don't know, maybe it's time for a soft benching. So that way San Fran can capitalize on all the momentum that they've been building behind Mac. Michael Penix Jr., QB, Atlanta Falcons. He has completed 61% of his passes for 1,409 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. His QBR is 47.7, which ranks 22nd second in the NFL. And though he just posted a career-high 3 touchdown passes in Week 9 in a loss to the Patriots, the Falcons, well, they're the Falcons, and they still look lost, and they're just destined to keep on losing. And you know what complicates the matter even further is that Kirk Cousins is still on this roster. The vet is just sitting on the bench with a 4-year, $180 million contract. And while common sense might suggest that he wants out still after he requested a trade this offseason, it's starting to look like he has a real chance at getting the starting gig back. Because if the Falcons keep losing and Penix doesn't start playing better, well, the pressure's gonna mount. Cousins is a veteran who wants to prove that he can still play and secure his future somewhere else. If Atlanta's season continues to spiral, don't be shocked if they give Cousins another shot. Penix won the job last year, but he's on thin ice and Cousins is waiting. Tua Tagovailoa, QB, Miami Dolphins. General manager Chris Grier was fired after a brutal 28-6 home loss to the Ravens. Tyreek Hill is out for the season. The team can't block, can't play defense, and they just can't win. So, real question, why is Tua still playing? He has thrown for 1,779 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions in 9 games with a 67.9% completion rate. Like, those numbers aren't terrible. But the big question is, with the season over and a regime change looming, what is the point? It feels like the days of Tagovailoa being the franchise quarterback in South Beach are just dead and gone. Yeah, the Dolphins definitely have a decision to make, but the writing is on the wall. And at this point, they may as well just shut him down and see what else they got. Geno Smith, QB, Las Vegas Raiders. Geno Smith got paid in April when he signed a 2-year, $75 million extension with the Raiders after being traded from the Seahawks. And hopes were pretty dang high with him reuniting with Pete Carroll, his old coach. Everything seemed set up for success. But then, well, the season actually started. The Raiders are currently sitting at 2-7. Their only wins came against the Titans and Patriots in Week 1 before New England found its identity. And Geno? Well, he's thrown 9 interceptions in his first 5 starts. 9. For context, that leads the entire league, and somehow it has looked even worse than the numbers would suggest. Smith has a $40 million cap hit this season, so the financial pressure is real. And while reports say that there's no sense around the Raiders' locker room that he'll be benched, you have to wonder how long can the Raiders actually stomach those turnovers. You cannot lead the league in interceptions on a 2-7 team and expect to keep your job forever. Dillon Gabriel, QB, Cleveland Browns. So far, Dillon Gabriel hasn't done anything to show that he can be the long-term answer. He's athletic and clearly wants to compete, but he's undersized and does not have the arm talent that you'd want to help offset his limitations. Browns are still desperately searching for a franchise quarterback, but based on what we've seen so far, Gabriel just isn't it. The offense just doesn't look like a serious NFL playoff unit with him leading it. And here's the thing, Shedeur Sanders is sitting on the bench. He's just right there. The Browns drafted Sanders in the 5th round, 2 rounds after Gabriel, and he has been waiting for his shot. Sanders is a higher profile player coming out of Colorado, and the Browns have nothing to lose by at least giving him a few starts before the season ends. If for no other reason than to quiet the ridiculous theories that they're trying to sabotage him. Gabriel has had his chance, and it's not showing anything with the season now on life support. The Browns may as well evaluate Sanders before making decisions for 2026, so that way they can see what they've got and put an end to this circus. Cam Ward, QB, Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward is the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 draft, and he is having a rough rookie season. The Titans are 1-8, tied for the worst record in the NFL, and have the worst offense in all of football, averaging just 14.4 points per game. This franchise is in complete freefall. There's a reason Brian Callahan got axed as the head coach mid-season. Unfortunately, things haven't really been any better for Cam Ward. As a rookie, he has been struggling in a major way. He's thrown for 1,760 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Now, Ward is the number 1 overall pick, so he's not going to get ousted entirely anytime soon. Just saying, first rounders, they got long leashes. But at some point, you gotta wonder if Tennessee shuts him down for the season to protect his confidence and development. Jacoby Brissett, QB, Arizona Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett has done everything right. He stepped in when Kyler Murray went down with a foot injury, and he has been absolutely excellent. And you know, it goes well beyond the stats too. This entire team looks rejuvenated with a different guy under center. But here's the problem. Brissett is not the future. He's a journeyman on a 1-year deal keeping the seat warm. Based Based off the recent comments from head coach Jonathan Gannon and the general vibe around the organization, it feels like the Kyler Murray era is finally over in the desert. But this is where it starts to get interesting, because the Cardinals have Kedon Slovis, an undrafted rookie from Arizona, sitting as the third-string quarterback. By the end of the season, with the playoffs out of reach, Arizona may as well just see what Slovis can do. Look, Brissett has done a great job, but he's just a temporary solution. And by the season's end, the Cardinals are going to want to evaluate their young quarterback. But which of these NFL quarterbacks do you think is going to lose their starting job next? Who do you think we're right on here? Who do you think we're off on? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video though and learned a thing or two, clicking that like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.